You should be checking out the J&L oil separator for your 2009 and newer 5.7 Hemi if you're looking to help capture the oily vapors produced during combustion from being reintroduced back into your intake, possibly leading to issues down the road. Now, construction is going to consist of a high-quality billet aluminum canister and factory-style hoses and fittings here, all for the mid to high $100 price point. Install, according to the site, it's going to get a soft 2 out of 3 wrenches on the difficulty meter thanks to that plug-and-play design, and take no more than, I would say, a few minutes of your time to complete from start to finish, as we'll demonstrate later in the video. So if you didn't know, your Hemi has what is called a PCV system, or short for positive crankcase ventilation. Now, the purpose of this system is to regulate and remove fumes from the engine crankcase and to alleviate crankcase pressure, which, if not otherwise addressed, could cause oil leaks or seal damage. Now, since these vapors just can't be vented into the atmosphere, they are plumbed back into the intake manifold or intake tract at that point to be burned off during the combustion cycle. And while that all sounds good in theory, a lot of times these oily vapors over time end up coating the inside of your intake manifold along with the backside of your intake valves, which can lead to valve coking, misfires, or even diluted octane ratings. And that's where your oil separator from J&L comes into play. Now, this guy is actually going to use a combination of a stainless steel mesh along with an aluminum honeycomb filter up top to allow the PCV to pass through here. This filter media is going to capture all of that oily moisture and all that junk, and then isolate it down below here into the 3-ounce canister and still allow your PCV system to function normally, getting that fresh, clean air through the system. Now, J&L actually claims checking this thing once every oil change interval, basically 5,000 to 7,000 miles, depending on what kind of oil you're using. But if it were up to me, I would definitely recommend checking it a little bit more often, because you might be surprised just how much junk this thing ends up collecting. Now, as far as your construction is concerned, you're looking at a simple billet aluminum canister here, and then they do finish it off in an anodized black finish. Just a heads up though, guys, J&L also offers this in a silver finish as well if you'd like it to stand out under the hood a bit more. Now, finally, the J&L system here does include factory-style hoses, factory-style fittings, and even the necessary bracket to get everything in place and do so in a very clean manner. But switching gears, let's talk about the install. And again, very simple, very straightforward here, guys. Soft 2 out of 3 wrenches on the difficulty meter according to the site. 30 minutes or less as far as getting everything in place, depending on how fast you like to work. But to give you a better idea of just how things will go down on your ride at home, feel free to check out our detailed walkthrough and tool breakdown now.
Tools used for today's install: a can of lubricant, microfiber cloth, trim removal tool, needle nose pliers, Phillips head, flathead, and a 13mm socket. What's up, guys? So I'm going to be going over the installation process of your oil separator today. Let's get started. All right, so we're going to pop our hood. Then you're going to have this engine cover. It's going to have 4 grommets on each side. You're just going to pull it, and then it should pop right off. Pull it straight up, just like so, and it'll come right out. All right, so for this next step, we're gonna remove the upper intake manifold breather hose off right there. All right, so for the breather hose, we're gonna disconnect, or actually rather loosen this worm gear clamp here, and we're gonna disconnect the elbow that goes into the upper intake manifold right here. Using our flathead screwdriver, loosen this up. Then, if it gives you trouble, you can use a pair of needle nose to kind of break the seal, but in our case, we don't need to. And you're just gonna actually disconnect it. Same thing here, break that seal, pull it off, should come right out. All right, so once you have your breather hose off, you're gonna have the elbow and the plastic breather hose. We're gonna wanna take the plastic section off. If it is giving you trouble, you can use needle nose pliers, which we have here, to kind of help break that seal. Or you can just pull and twist, and it should break loose. Just like that. All right, so out of the box, you're gonna have 4 barbs. In our case, we're gonna need the large to small. There is 2 that are the same size on each side, but like I said, in our case, we're gonna use the large to small. All right, so to insert these barbs into these lines, you may need a lubricant. In our case, we used white lithium grease. We're gonna take the smaller side with the smaller hose, Push it until it stops, just like that. Same thing with this side. You can spray it on the hose or on the barb itself. Push it until it stops. All right, so now that we have our barbs installed on the vacuum lines, now it's time to thread these into the oil separator itself. The shorter line is going to go on the left side. The longer line will go on the right side. And be careful not to over tighten these because they are plastic threads. Just like that. All right, so what we need to do now is we need to remove this plastic harness from the head itself so we can thread the bracket on. We're going to use our plastic trim removal tool and do that now. All right, now we're going to put our bracket on with the supplied hardware. It should be a 13mm bolt. You're going to line that up with the hole where we just removed that plastic clip and start it by hand. Sorry, it may be difficult to see. And then try and get that as straight as possible. Get your 13mm. And then just give it a wiggle, make sure it's nice and tight. All right, and that hose that we removed earlier from the plastic, we're gonna reinstall that, but facing it in the opposite direction. Just like that. All right, now we're gonna install the hoses. The longer one is going to the back. We did apply some grease to this so it slides in a lot easier. Just till it stops. Same thing there. All right, so now we're gonna tighten up everything we loosened up. That worm gear clamp with our flathead screwdriver. Make sure it's nice and snug. Then with our supplied hardware, we are going to mount the separator to the bracket now. You're gonna use a flat, or correction, Phillips head. So yeah, with your supplied hardware, these should be 2 Phillips screws. We're using our Phillips screwdriver and we're gonna just tighten these down to the bracket. And once you have that secured, you can kind of orient these whichever way you want. You can go underneath of this, you can go over it. It is completely up to you. For our sake, we're gonna leave it just like this. All right, guys, so that's gonna wrap up today's review and install for the J&L 3.0 oil separator in black anodized, fitting your 09 to current 5.7 liter Hemi models. Thanks for watching, and for all things Challenger, keep it right here at AmericanMuscle.com.